Greetings.
Hi.
Good evening. Congratulations on the tickets. Were you calling a radio station?
No, it was a friend at a game did one of the quizzes in the stands there and won the box for the whole group. So there's a whole gang of us going. So I'm really
That'll
excited.
be fun. So who's playing?
Yeah. It's Ottawa and LA.
Oh, right. That'll be fun. How is LA? I don't even know.
I'm not sure where they're at this year, to be honest. I know they have their moments and then they kind of fall back again, and then have a season where they do really well, and you don't see the West Coast teams as much here.
Right. Well, yeah, because when they're playing your teams out west, it's on at 1 or 2 in the morning, so just doesn't make any sense, right?
Yeah. And
but aren't you all like in mourning over there because of Gordon Downie?
Yeah.
I am. I'm bummed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've been listening to their music for a long time, so I didn't go to the Kingston show, but I definitely watched it, on CBC, and he's mesmerizing. I've never seen him live, but wow, he's right up there as far as I'm concerned with in terms of like showmanship with Springsteen and Jagger. So I was, which I had never really known. So, anyways.
Sad to see him go.
Yep. So Josh, you're up first. How you feeling tonight?
I'm feeling pretty good.
Good. So yesterday, I'm super. I went to the doc for my annual physical, and he says without getting into too much detail, did you have chicken pox? And I'm like, I don't know. How would I remember? And I go, and you've asked me this before, and I asked my mom, and she doesn't remember. Because we had four kids in the family, and he just kind of rolled his eyes, and he says, "Well, the reason I'm asking is because of the virus, right? The shingles virus." And I said, "But isn't that the shot that's really painful, and it goes in the back of the arm here?" He goes, "Yeah." And I said, "Don't I need to go to and pay like $250 for that?" He goes, "Yeah." And then he said, "But here's the thing. Even if you've had chicken pox and you take the virus, there's only 1 in 4 people get the virus if they've had the chicken pox, so 25%, and only half of that group who get the shot actually benefit from the shot." So I'm like, those are like crappy odds. I think I have better luck winning tickets to a hockey game, right? So I said, no way. And then I leave, and I get some more paperwork, and I said, "What's this?" She goes, "It's a script." So I go, "Oh, I didn't even read it." And so I take it to the chemist, to the pharmacist, and he goes, "Oh, I'll see if we have that." I go, What is it?" He tells me what it is. And so they go back to the refrigerator, and they go, "Yeah, we have enough. Have you got a second? We can poke you right now." And I'm like, "Poke me right now?" I go, "What am I getting?" And he goes, "Well, it's a live thing. It's a live strain. This is for shingles." I'm like, "Wait a minute." I said, "No way on this." He goes, "Well, it's for free because of your health insurance." So I did not get it, because I think I have, honestly, better luck winning tickets to the Ottawa hockey game. But I don't think, I'm sure your boss is miserable, because it just looks nasty. So hang in there.
It's no fun. But they say if you get it once, you should be good. You shouldn't get it again for the rest of your life. So I'm happy that it happened when I'm 29 as opposed to when I'm 69. So
yeah, well, and it's definitely not supposed to happen to young bucks like you. So Okay, what do you want to go over tonight? Because you're up first.
Well, I can start off with, we'll just take a look at the Revit model.
Cool.
And I'll screen share with you. Can you see it?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'll just start off by showing you my units. Do you want to take a close look at these apartment units?
Yeah, could you zoom in? Can we just like look at them like we're droning over them? Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Is it a tub shower? Is that what you're doing? Or are you doing a roll-in shower?
Roll-in shower. And I noticed some of them aren't showing up there.
Just so you all know, you got to do the roll-in shower in the ADA units, which I understand. But when you sit down in your office and you get one of these projects, you guys, the roll-in shower is a ball buster, okay? Because the slab's got to be cut out or the deck's got to be cut out to receive the shower pan, right? And that thing's all waterproofed like it's a canopy on a roof. So it has an impact on structural depth, and it has to be coordinated and built really, really well. So many developers will find a way to simply avoid it by doing a tub shower, right? Like the Mendota tub by Kohler or some equivalent, Josh. And then there are some products where you can kind of get an ADA shower with a door on it, you know. So it's an issue. You don't necessarily have to solve that issue now, but I certainly want you to be aware of it. You can do the roll-in shower graphically and in terms of what you're intending here, but you need to understand the sort of issue with them, right?
Okay. Yeah.
The other thing is I love how, like, in 204, right, that water closet is centered on the door. That's beautiful. But really the water closet always needs to be no more than 18 inches from the nearest wall, not the back wall, the nearest side wall, or the nearest interference or obstruction, like a tub, right, or a vanity face. So that one looks okay. 204 looks okay, but 205 looks like it's kind of hanging out in the breeze by about 6 inches. So you got to, so when you're working with me in the office and I say fix the bathrooms, and adjust all of those conditions.
So
right,
for 205, the problem is the toilet's too far from the door. Is that what you mean?
It's too far from the wall to your right.
Oh, I see. Okay, so it needs to shift.
Cannot be more than 18 inches from that wall.
Now, so is that to the center of the toilet, like this?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
I should have been clearer about that.
I did not know that. Yeah, so that's 2'4".
Hey,
okay.
I stumped the chumps. I stumped the code guy.
Yeah, you did. That's got to be like
I geek. What?
Like that?
Yeah, you got to do the angle dimension.
Okay.
Right.
For some reason, it didn't want to align there.
Yeah, but you get it. So
Yeah.
In this conversation, maybe just circle of the toilet, and that's kind of like a broken twig on the trail. You'll go back and fix all of
Right.
those.
You want to keep flying
Let's
around?
go back. Yeah, but let's go back where we were. 205. Let me look at that one, and let me look at 6. Same thing on 6. You've got the magic packs in these units too. That's nice.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's going to help me out a lot.
So your kitchen lineup is typically, like in 205, if you zoom in on that, On the far right is the refrigerator, the cooktop, a double sink, the dishwasher, and countertop. I don't think you need double sinks that large in any of these units. I think you could probably get away with one, and that will give you more counter space.
Okay.
But here's another thing that you can consider. You can get 2 side-by-side sinks in the same footprint as one of those single sinks that you're showing. And another thing you can get with these is like a cutting board that goes over the top of the whole thing, maybe with a hole in it so water can go through it, like a water stream.
Right.
And that allows these small kitchens, these micro kitchens, to have like more. And I'm not going to change this kitchen because it's kind of I see it's repeated, but I think a lot of people value the idea of the refrigerator close to the door,
Mm-hmm.
and because it's easy to drop stuff in there right when they walk in, all the way to the end of the aisle, or finding counter surface to drop everything onto. But that's neither here nor there at this point.
Well,
I'm just giving you this sort of. I'm just giving you some, like, when you do this in your office next time.
Right. That is my refrigerator by
Right.
the door there.
So I just thought it was a big ass refrigerator.
Yep.
where my cursor is down
Right
by
there.
the column. Then I like what you've got.
Yep, that's the refrigerator back over there.
But I do think the double sinks are too much.
Yep, I got that note here.
And I've also found that a lot of like in these micro units, not necessarily for this demographic, and you can talk to Courtney about this, but the idea of a traditional stove and cooktop is kind of going by the wayside in these smart sized units. They're going with like just 2 cooktops with a microwave.
Mm-hmm.
So to take up less sort of space, because people are food differently, right? They're getting
Right.
it prepared. They're eating less. They're making sandwiches, that kind of thing. So just a heads up on that. Can we go to the other units now?
Here's a laundry room. If you want to comment on that.
Oh no, you got to move your drawing. It's still on 205.
It is. Is that better now?
Yeah.
You can see it.
What's that walk-in area with a column in it?
Utility closet or something of that nature.
Gotcha.
I don't know.
Okay.
A way for me to say that's not wasted space because it's a closet, not just something. So.
Yeah, it's probably going to be a janitor's closet. You could put a slop sink in there.
Yep, that's kind of what I was thinking.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's look at 216. Mm-hmm. The other thing in 216 that you're sort of doing in 217 is that bedroom would probably have a squared off wall. The wall that has the bed on it.
Right.
That wall would probably get packed out so that the room would be just a little easier, right? To furnish, to install carpeting in. That's the other thing. These units would probably have carpeting in bedrooms, tile floors in the bathrooms, and it would probably have some sort of like plastic laminate wood floor or vinyl tile that looks like wood. And with that shaft in 217 above, that's sort of what that does to that room, right?
Right.
Yeah, you got it. And then that column kind of gets, lost in the sauce. That
Right.
one down at the lower left.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go up to 18. Whatever that is.
Yeah, the room numbering got weird, so
It's okay.
you'll notice that. So all these units pretty much repeat, except for the living room gets slightly smaller as as it goes higher and higher.
What's the weakest unit? What's the hardest unit for you?
Of the ones we just looked at, or of all the units?
Of all of them. Wasn't it the first one on the upper left that we looked at last week?
I kind of like how that one turned out up there.
By the elevator there?
Yeah, I think you had a good suggestion with putting the door over here, and then it just kind of, gave you these cool little nooks and stuff that you can get into, and I think it worked out pretty well. The most difficult.
That's actually a nice unit. That's a nice unit.
Yeah, it is. You got all this clear open space towards your windows and everything.
Okay, let's look at the other stuff too.
So again, just some more. Most of these repeated. I don't know if you want to look at all of them.
This is an open courtyard, right?
Yep. The middle is open here. This is the ramp coming up. That's why there's a slight color change. That's going to change how I show that at some point, just not now. And then this back over here is supposed to be a outdoor patio space, green space or something.
You got to fix that door at the end of that hallway, remember?
Oh, yeah, I do.
Yep. Put a circle around that.
I'll circle around that, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much same thing up here. Up here, I've got one big ass unit, 2-bedroom luxury unit that I haven't laid out yet, which has some stellar views and this wide open terrace. So you could charge like $3 million for that.
So maybe the entry isn't, so maybe don't let the entry door that you've placed there drive the layout of the unit.
Sure,
that can slide up or down. Don't even put the kitchen there.
Yeah, I haven't. I just copied that over, so I have all the things that I need.
Because maybe the kitchen's where the tag is, and the living room is 3-sided, and the kitchen opens to it, and then in that box at the columns, in that area where you've got the kitchen, maybe that's a bedroom, a master bedroom suite.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, there could be 2 bedrooms down here when each one could have its own bathroom, and I mean, you could do a lot of stuff with this unit.
So let me can you zoom out a second? I don't want you to change this now, but I want you to think about this. So what you've done in almost every case, Joshua, is you've done your kitchen lineup on the demising wall.
I've done my what lineup?
You've done your kitchen lineup, sort of veneered to that demising wall, right? The residential unit separation wall. That's a rated wall, right? So anything that like plugs, plumbing, supply, water supply, gas supply, electrical, right? Waste lines, all of that stuff breaches that wall. So when you get to avoid doing that, get into the, or for the reasons that I'm explaining, right? Because the water line may come up through the floor, but the electrical conduits along that kitchen, the gas line, if it was a gas range, that stuff may need to come through the wall. So anytime that you breach the wall, you have to make sure that it's a fire rated penetration. You have to do like intumescent caulk. I mean, it starts, then you do that times the number of units per floor, then the number of floors for the building. Like in a multi-story building, that becomes a really big value.
Right.
You can appreciate that.
Yeah.
So what you do is you design around that, or you pack out that whole demising wall for the length of the kitchen, another 4 inches.
Right.
Right. So that packed out wall is the wall that stuff goes into, and it is kind of just independent of the demising wall, the unit demising wall. Fair enough?
Right. Yep. Just making a note here.
And I think, in units like this, that's a big ask, because these are such small units. But even in your case, if you were to have taken this into like a design development set, that would be the next thing that you'd do. You'd find a way to sort of avoid that.
Right.
Cool.
Yep.
Did you get the grade sheets today?
Yes.
Okay. So make sure, I'm saying this to you because you're the first one, but make sure that you provide documentation or illustrations in your deliverables package that hits on all those themes.
Right. And my plan, I guess we could jump to that. My plan for that was to show like these black and white floor plans.
Yeah.
And then just take them into Illustrator.
Yeah. And just overlay.
Overlay with information.
Right.
This is
and you may want to take those plans and just, if they're at a 100% value right now, you may want to bring them down to like 75, just so that the plan and the architecture and the furniture, doors and all that stuff are kind of secondary to the primary information, which is what you're dropping in Illustrator.
Right. There's nothing really new up here. We can have a look at just a minute. So I've been working with my envelope. So here you can see the CLT panels here.
Yes.
Coming up to the CLT floor plate here. 4-inch concrete topping here. 5 or 6 inches of rigid
insulation.
Insulation. Same thing on the walls.
Don't go yet.
Rigid.
I want to go up to the top. So that exterior clad material, it's like looking at the top parapet there. What I'm doing now is I'm turning the insulation the parapet.
Right. Yep.
Because yes.
That's my intention.
Because that's a breach. That's a moment of breach.
Right. And that insulation would come out here, would come all the way down to this here.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Bingo.
Yep. Yeah.
So that may change that would change the sort of approach to that detail, but if you do that, I think Ash will be appreciative.
Right. Yeah, and I've got these in large.
And if you start doing that in your own work, your contractors and your end users will be appreciative.
Right.
Let's go downstairs. Did you cut this through a window?
I did not. No.
No, you might want to.
Yeah. I may do that, but all my windows align, and I didn't want to have like window around this whole thing. So I might just fake it and put in a window.
Yeah, you could do that.
Or just have a window off to the side here.
Off to the side to say, yes, do similar. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Yep. So again, here's CLT panel coming down, CLT floor slab, panel coming down, drop ceiling here with, what is it? 10 inches, 9 inches, 9 3/4 clear.
Mm-hmm.
To run your ductwork and piping and whatever there.
That's pretty snug. What's your ceiling height in these spaces?
8.6. And that maybe that's only where I need to have a drop to cover things up. Otherwise,
like living room spaces and bedroom spaces.
Maybe a living room space could be, maybe there's not the drop ceiling in the living room space because I don't need, maybe it's just
So
along the hallway or something. And then
the kitchen could be like 8.2, bathrooms could be 7.0.
Right.
And those are areas where the mechanical ductwork can exist, and then it can blow through the vertical bulkhead into the space.
Right. Yep. I'm still working
What
on
is
how
this detail down here?
this one.
Yeah.
Ignore this stuff here. That's just the ramp on the side of the building. I'll have to hide that or something because it's confusing. But
Gotcha.
this is my hollow core concrete that's above my podium, which is thick as hell.
Yep.
Then my insulation on top of that, and then 4 inches of cast in place slab on top of that.
Yeah. So it's a double slab that's insulated, right?
Yeah. I couldn't think of any other way to really insulate that.
No, that's the right way to go.
Yeah, it seems like that's what everybody was saying online. So, and then I'll probably have the same thing on the main floor for all the heated spaces, which may be a benefit because then once you get to the unheated space, you get to drop 3 or 4 inches, and now you've got a curb.
That's right. That's right.
So that'll be helpful.
Good.
I can show you this sketch that I did. This is my structural sketch for my main floor. So this directional rectangle would be my hollow core slab, and that's 8 feet.
Your precast plank.
Right, precast plank, correct.
Yeah.
Yep, and then I'm just showing my maximum dimensions 40 feet, which is why we've got this really thick thing. But
it's a big slab.
Yeah, it is.
Wow. But it only happens once. It only happens for 10 slabs or so, because everything else drops down to 34 or less.
Yep. I think that's pretty much it, unless you want to see elevations or 3D stuff.
Yeah, let me look at them real quick, and I'll let you go.
Okay. So I'm trying to figure out, maybe you can help me with this exterior balcony. I didn't want to have a thermal bridge. At first I was going to have a cantilever just coming out, but then that posed a pretty big problem. So now I'm thinking maybe
because of the direction of the precast.
What's that?
So what have you thought you'd do?
I'll put these beams on the roof, and then I can suspend these balconies. I can have a rod coming down to suspend them there, and then I can have a ledger on the outside of my rigid insulation that's bolted to my CLT panel, and then the only thermal bridge would really be that bolt, and I'm not too concerned about that.
So is that beam going all the way to the other roof? Is that what you're anticipating?
Not. No, I think I can make that work as a cantilever. I mean, it could span that whole thing.
No, it doesn't need to. I mean, it could just be like a D frame or an H frame to do that. It doesn't need to be that long.
Right. Oops.
It can go all the way. It can go 5 feet from the skin.
Right.
Yeah. So that's an interesting. Josh, I appreciate your concern. I did cantilevered precast at Main North Lofts in Royal Oak. Next time y'all are down here, you can go take a look at it. And it's a crazy detail. It has, I don't know if you can see me, but the precast plank goes out from the interior, right? So the wall is in the gap between my hands, right? So the exterior wall is like this.
Mm-hmm.
And what the contractor came up with Kirkstra from Grand Rapids was to do a series of metal straps on both sides of the precast, top and bottom, so that in effect these metal straps were holding the precast back to the other slab. 6 feet long, the straps. So it was kind of like a zipper, top and bottom, bolted into both slabs, top and bottom, to create kind of a compression zipper. I can't describe it any other way, because we had corner units that had balconies on both corner faces, right? So the precast couldn't cantilever anyways, and then the only breach, I guess, you know, of the thermal break were the metal planks.
Right.
Not a solution I'm recommending, but that's what I did. So unusual as that is, that's what we did. I have to invite Lou real quick. Hold on. For some reason, it's not letting me invite her. But the idea of hanging them, I think, is fine.
Okay.
It just changes the sort of aesthetic nature of it. And you know what? If you do them out of aluminum, they're feather light compared to the
Right. Other than that,
can you just rotate around at grade level so I see these as elevations? I'm going to move on after this. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's actually a really interesting view.
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on
nice
here.
Facade. Yeah, it's a nice facade.
I was considering leaving this just like a painted CMU block, or maybe a burnished block, but I realized that I can't do that because I need insulation. So
this is the north facade. This is the Alfred Street facade.
Yeah. It's my stair tower here. That's all the block.
Say that once more, Joshua.
I'm sorry?
Say that once more. You said something about you can't do that, or you don't want to do that because
I need to have insulation. I can't just have a block wall without insulation, which was what I was thinking I could do because it was just a stair tower. But that needs to be insulated too. So now I need to pick a material. I don't know. I don't really want to introduce another material, but I don't want to use the ones I have either because I want it to stand alone by itself. So
right. You can insulate. You can get like a perlite insulation that can go in the cores, but it's not foolproof. Right? It's not. You know, because you're going to have cores that are grouted solid, so they don't have the kind of insulative value that the insulation will provide it. So it's kind of a mess. So I understand what you're doing.
Yeah. I'll figure something out.
You know, if it's like an exterior stairwell that's not heated in a different kind of building, that's actually a nice strategy. I think dumb building materials, if you will, like CMU, are proud. They can be used in proud ways.
Yeah, I think so too.
And if you ever look at the work of Paul Rudolph, for example, or someone that I really, really love, is William G. Clark, Menifee, a firm down in Virginia. They did wonderful work just using concrete block. It's definitely cool.
Right.
And can I see the west facade? Mm-hmm. So the registration seems kind of off here. Some of the window groups. There's 2 window groups, right? And they have different head heights.
Yeah,
so what's happening?
That is odd.
On the top floor, it seems like they're not registered, but everywhere else they do.
Yeah,
something.
I know what happened there. I made an adjustment to my wall, and it must have dragged the windows with it, and so I'll need to fix that.
Yeah, so you got to go back and fix that.
Thanks for picking that up.
Uh-huh. Okay, I'll let you go. Keep flying. I'm around this weekend if you need me.
Okay. See ya.
Thanks.
Yep.
Rasha, you're next. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. So what would you like to talk about tonight?
Okay. Let me share screen with you. So I've been cleaning up I cleaned up my floor. Well, not 100%. I'm like at 85% happy with the layout of the furniture, I think, after fixing a bunch of stuff. But what my concern is so I'm doing concrete for my structure, and so
okay, poured in place.
Yeah, we talked about flat plate slabs.
Okay.
Ash and I talked about. So I'm looking over my notes.
Gotcha.
And so I have, let's go to the basement, which is, that's the mess over here. So I have all my grid lines, and let me just hide these guys so you can see them. So I have a bunch of these columns, and they're like everywhere. So most of these,
I think you need more. Oh my goodness.
I need more columns. So these columns right here, these 4.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Oh, I was like,
why are there so many?
I know, because
No, I'm kidding. Why do you have so many?
So these guys around the perimeter, and as well as these are all for, like, you know, up the levels above. Because we have we can go back here. So we have them standing this way, and there's no columns over here in the open courtyard. However, we do need columns in the basement and in the parking. So I have 4 columns that are only in the parking, which I can go back to in a second. So
what are the spans? So you created this problem, by the way. I just want you to know that.
I know.
Right?
I didn't realize it.
You created this problem, Rasha, because you went single loaded corridors and you created the donut. And the donut is a tough plan to do if you have parking underneath it. So is a okay. So can we go to the first floor for a second?
Yes.
Because maybe there's a way that some of these columns can diminish here and get simpler here. Like all of the corridors above can, like around that courtyard, can probably be a cantilevered condition.
Oh,
yeah, you're already doing that. Yeah, because you've already. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, these are it's already cantilevered. I know.
So why is there a column at 9? I can't see all of the tags.
Oh.
2-9.
This guy?
Yeah. So circle that one.
Let me just look over.
Just.
So that one,
Oh, I see.
oh, up above, there's a room right here. So they span this way. So this is 25
Yeah.
feet from here to here.
Mm-hmm. But
Let me
like,
zoom out.
are the elevator walls and the stair walls concrete too? Are they all
Yeah.
poured concrete?
So I'm planning. Yeah. So
I'm
I
wondering.
talked about. Sorry.
I was going to ask if maybe Ash would be amenable to allowing those to be bearing walls to eliminate 9-2, for example.
That's what I was thinking. I didn't know if that was possible. If I did have these, if I had them as bearing walls, if that was okay to get rid of
Mm-hmm.
this one. I'm not sure, because even if I do, that's going to be from this one to this one over 30 feet.
Mm-hmm. It's stretching it.
Mm-hmm. Although there is one right here.
But like Rasha, what I might have done on this floor, can you move back out so I can see the numbers again?
Mm-hmm.
On this floor, I might have begun the transfer of loads from above and introduced a new column at 3, 9. You should use letters, by the way, for one row and numbers for the other.
Yeah.
So one, 2, 3 should be A, B, C.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'll go back and change those.
So if you had a column at 3, 9, or in my world, C9, you could get rid of 2, 9 and bear on the elevator.
Okay.
And then that may help you downstairs because now you only have 3, 9 downstairs and not 2, 9. I don't know if that works downstairs, but like thinking vertically through the structural grid is one way of sort of tackling these things and trying to accomplish transfer at this level.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go back to this hornet's nest of a lower level.
Okay. There's that one.
Yeah, see, now if you got rid of that,
I tried doing it the plan multiple ways. So I first tried doing it. Well, you saw with it just being the parallel, which wouldn't work. And then I looked at Lynn's, and I was trying to do something like that, but that also didn't work because of the columns. And so then I was changing it. I tried doing it this way and to see if it works. With right now, I have like 43 spaces, 42 spaces.
But can you move your column 3 spaces to the left? Your cursor 3 spaces to the left? Yeah, I think you can get, no, not that far. I think you can get another space to the right of that cursor and still have room for traffic to circulate around. Yeah, right there. I think you see where you've got the stairway and you've got 2 spaces there. I think you could get 2 more spaces down there if that column could go away.
I know.
That line of columns at 3 is problematic.
Yeah.
Maybe the ramp, let's go back up to the first floor. Yeah, maybe the ramp slides over to 3.
Oh, all the way.
Yeah, and just lines up with that. Let's go back downstairs. The stair there at 16 is a problem. Is that an elevator there next to the stair?
Yes, this is an elevator.
And you're going to need a lobby there, so the 2 spaces there don't really work. Spaces downstairs?
Approximately 42.
So let's say 43, if we can make some of this mess go away. Let's say 42. Let's go back upstairs. Yeah, the problem is you don't have any parking upstairs.
No. I have 0 parking. The only
Right?
Yeah, I have 0 parking upstairs.
One more time, I didn't hear that.
I said I have 0 parking upstairs.
Yeah, you're putting so much importance on that courtyard.
I know.
The courtyard is breaking your back.
Thing is, it's like also the courtyard is like what my whole concept revolves around, and I just don't want to.
But why does it have to be such a big courtyard? You know, I mean, I'm not criticizing the courtyard necessarily, but like I guess so I mean it's okay. Page.
I mean, I could like bring this back a little bit.
Bring what back again? I'm sorry.
So
yeah.
So take this and bring it back a little bit, and then see if I have room to have parking over here.
Uh-huh. Where's the property line on this plan?
That's what I had. I have to redraw it because I deleted it, and I realized that last night. So the property line.
The basement needs to go. Yeah, the basement needs to go to the full limits of the buildable property, and then offset that property line like by 12 or 15 inches, and that will be like the thickness of your walls. And your basement plan needs to exist there. It doesn't have to like line up with the stuff above. There's going to be ways to make that transition.
Okay. I'll redo that.
For me, so I don't know how you're going to solve this, and I'm probably this, but like this project's going to cause me to have a migraine, right? So thank you for that. But like for me, when I run into projects like this, I need to get you to I need you as a designer, as a nimble and fast or faster designer. You need to hear or see the yellow flags. You need to hear the alarm sounds, right? Mm-hmm. and see the yellow flags. When you started to lay out the ground floor and you saw all of this structural sort of stuff, you would want to say, like, if we were working together, you'd say, Mark, what is going on? Why are there so many columns? And I'd say, why are there single loaded corridors? And I would say, why is there a big ass courtyard? Right? Mm-hmm. And then you say, well, is that really the problem? I say, yeah, that's the problem. So let's eliminate the single loaded corridors and let's do double loaded corridors so that they enjoy the same corridor. Here's sort of a harebrained idea, because I like the courtyard, and I like what it does, but it's also causing you a lot of heartburn. Does the building have to have this big courtyard on the ground floor? Because after all, right, it's really the back of the shops. It's the back of the, yoga and exercise. Could the courtyard have a carport with a roof over it? The roof of which is really the first floor of the courtyard for the residents above?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Well, I don't know if it would it necessarily be for the residents above or the residents that are coming to go to the retail shops.
So I guess that's another thing. You're putting so much pressure on the courtyard to work as a program condition for retail. I love the way you're promoting connectivity between 6 and 7, and 20 and 21 down on the alley. But that place could hold marching band practices. Because it's huge, right? So, Rasha, have you ever walked through Birmingham behind Cafe Via?
I know you asked me about this one. I honestly have not. I've not been to Cafe Via.
Oh, so you and I have to go get a coffee over there. We'll go to Starbucks. I'm going to walk you through that. Here's the point. Bringing this up. Here's the point. It's really small. It's tiny. It's 10 feet between the parking deck and the retail spaces. And it's the most beautiful 10 feet in the world. Well, at least in Oakland County. And then it goes through these connectors like you've got between 6 and 7, along glass facades of the retail out to the street. And that's only 10 feet as well. The footprint of the corridor in the arcade, the footprint of the arcade in the open air is really, really tiny. And so I think you can still have some of those virtues and still have the car court.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Because at the end of it all, you may not have 42 spaces. You only may have like 35 downstairs. And those columns are in drive aisles, and you're going to have to find a way to circulate around those. But I think if you could get like 10 spaces upstairs, you'd get pretty close.
Mm-hmm.
And come in off the alley to do that.
I think I may have an idea / solution.
I'm thinking of, have you been to Florence, Italy?
No, I've been to Turkey.
To where?
Turkey.
Me too. I love that country, actually. Not right now, but I love my friends there. Yeah, I was there for 5 or 6 weeks about 10 years ago, and that was a lot of fun. In Florence, there's a number of those banking palaces, right? That were designed by Brunelleschi.
Mm-hmm.
That you drive through a courtyard, or you drive into a courtyard through an arcade like you have on Alfred Street or off of the alley, and you'll see all the little Fiats parking there, and they park willy and nilly because it doesn't really matter. But it's kind of a charming little thing. And I just think that, Rasha, if you had a floor plate over that green area to conceal all of those cars from the residents above, you could still have an open arcade or an experiential arcade to walk along the backs of the retail shops, those program elements that you've got there, which is lovely, a lovely idea, and still have the cars. And the roof that I'm talking about doesn't need to be a solid roof. It could have giant, 12-foot circles or triangles or squares cut out of it all through, to let leaves fall through it, to let light spill into it. And then that roof with the holes in it, like Swiss cheese, right, could be kind of a park-like setting, because that would be the first, that would be the ground floor for the first residential floor. Capiche?
Yeah.
So I think, you know, first things first, when you get stuck like this, try to get unstuck by thinking of a different way of, you know, making the arithmetic work. You need to listen. You need to listen to what the design is telling you. The design was trying to stymie you, and you didn't pay attention to that. So you need to be alert to that. You need to say, what the fuck? Why is this not working out? And so that's when you need to ask me, or Paul Urbanek or Bob Varga or whoever you're working with. You know, why isn't this working? You need to go to them, because they'll kickstart you in a completely different direction, one that will actually probably still work well. And then the second thing is, try to be, I think, maybe more sort of open to using, if we go back to that basement plan, more open to using different approaches to diagramming the parking. So, I mean, I think that my sense is that you continue to work in the Revit environment to design. And I think one of the problems with that is that it's really way too slow. So so the gist of this talk is to talk about like speed or pace and efficiency. And so when I get to a point like this, Rasha, I will print this to scale and tape it down on my desk.
Mm-hmm.
I bet Paul Urbanek does this too, because he's kind of my age. And we'll start to do overlays. And just do quick overlays, and then you do an overlay, right? You unroll the paper and you tape it down, right? And you draw on it, and then you rotate it to test it again. And if the rotated concept that you drew originally this way, east and west, actually seems to work north and south, which is something you didn't even draw, but you can draw it sort of quickly because you just rotate. Then you do another overlay over that, and then you trace it to fit that new circumstance. So using the onion skin, using the sort of paper's quality of transparency allows you to evaluate much more quickly than drawing it one way in Revit and then grabbing all of those parking spaces, right? And rotating them 90 degrees and then trimming and cutting and suiting that to fit. That takes way too long. So one of the things I want to encourage you to become is more efficient and more flexible, right? More efficient and flexible in the way you approach design by not, and I'm saying this to all of you really, not just staying in the mode of the way you're thinking of your ideas, which generally has been in like Revit. Revit's a great tool. It's so impressive, but your brain and your hand, Rasha, are faster than Revit. No matter how good you are at Revit, it's just faster. It's faster in that, what I would call the evaluative stage. Okay. Mm-hmm. So that's my two cents. And that comment, those comments were tailored just to you because of what you told me a couple of weeks ago. Because I think I just solved your problem. For the rest of your career, you're welcome.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
So, and you got your grade sheets today.
Yeah. Yes.
Right? So I want to make sure that you know that you have to hit all those things for this benchmark and resolve the design, right? Because the design was supposed to be pert and near resolved at the first benchmark, because the second benchmark, as you all are figuring this out now, has so much more at stake. So, so we're looking for, you know, the HVAC zoning plans. We're looking for wall sections, and so on. So if you have anything there that you want me to look at, I'm happy to do that.
Not right now with the wall sections. I did talk to Ashley a little bit about like having my electrical and mechanical room in the same like my main ones on the ground floor, and then having my ducts
Yeah,
go from
good.
like one closet up into the rest of the floors. So it'll be in
Good.
the area right here. So I just need to draw that out, but
Good.
I know what I have to do.
Okay, I'm around this weekend if you needed to visit here on Hangouts. So just let me know. You just have to ask.
Yeah, I probably will if you're available on Sunday. Hopefully, I should have a good chunk to go.
Okay. Saturday's better because I only see my parents 2 times per year, and they're leaving the West Branch neighborhood to come down on their way to Florida, and so we're having Thanksgiving dinner Sunday afternoon. But I'll do everything I can to accommodate you.
Okay. Well, no.
If it has to be in the evening, for instance.
I don't want you to. Yeah, I don't want to discuss it with you. With your, your family things. It's totally. I don't want. Yeah.
No. It's okay. This is important. So I'm happy to do that.
I'll let you know. I'll email you and let you know
or text me. You have my cell number.
Yeah, I'll just text you and see when's the best time and when it's a good time, for you and I. So it'll be
okay. Cool. So I'm around. You're welcome. I'll talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Okay, Andrew.
Yep, I sent you an email.
Yes, sir.
With my stuff.
So
I had a
here it is.
long conversation with Ash today about HVAC, my wall section. So I just got to finish it all. I'm working on it now, so I don't really have much to show.
Mm-hmm. I like how lean the structural grid is. I love
the parking
how it
I
doesn't
changed.
mess anything up.
And then those blue lines.
The only column I don't like is the one where the car is. We've talked about that one. And the one by the stairway at the southeast corner, but everything else works fine.
Yeah. Yeah, the ramp I put on an angle and try to adjust as much as I could to get it out of the way as it could be.
Yeah.
But that's as much as I could possibly do.
Uh-huh. To show partitions around the elevator so that you create a lobby, and downstairs in this lower level, the doors will likely open to the west and not to the drive aisle, right? Correct?
No, they'll open to the east, unless they just have double-sided doors. I don't, because how I have the other floors, they open up to the.
You would.
To the east.
Yeah, you would.
Okay.
You would have double-sided doors, and they would open only to the west when they reach the basement. That happens all the time. Okay. And how many spaces do you get downstairs? 42?
Yep. And then, I didn't put the main floor. I think I get 9 on the main floor, 9 or 10.
Mm-hmm. I can't wait to talk about the elevation. So what is this plate number 4?
Plate number 3 and 4, that's just showing where my HVAC is going to lay down. I haven't made the details of it yet, but that's just the path of how it's going to be laid out.
Okay. Got you. This is a beautiful drawing on plate 5. Is there Is there any way you can talk about where this comes from?
So
Where
I
this pattern comes from?
the next one shows all the colors. So I kind of just chose colors that have to do with the research around the site area. So I chose 4. I was gonna choose I chose Terra, and then the 3 others are the grays, Ivory. I don't know how to pronounce the one above Liquid Black, and then
Anthracite.
Anthracite.
It's like coal, right?
And then Off-White.
But your rendering on 6 tries is really compelling. It's really beautiful, and I want you to include it in your set. But it looks more red. It doesn't look terracotta. Terracotta has a little bit more yellow in the red, so it tends to go more towards orange, right?
Okay.
Like a clay pot for your mom's geraniums. This looks more like Christmas red or Chinese red. So so like if you drew this at a larger scale, I think it would be more accurate. But as an idea drawing, it's really, really beautiful. So this is the Oko skin?
Yeah, and then the rest is just about that, and then how it installs. I was talking to Ash about that today for my my wall section.
So your wall section is going to be sort of like what we see on 8, right? Where you create kind of a rain screen with the Oko skin on a vertical cleat thing, and then you're going to have a vapor barrier over like a closed cell polystyrene insulation, and then it goes on to the sheathing of the wall, right? Or the wall itself.
Yeah.
So in all, that wall is 2.5. That wall is at least 3 inches thick, outboard of the sheathing of the wall. So that's a pretty thin wall. Does the vertical profile in this section slip to be parallel to the wall bracket? Do they line up? Attached that way?
Well, how I was going to do it was I'll have my my steel frame, and then the gypsum board, and then outside of that I'll have, if you look on the 7th slide, how they have the wood, because I'm doing mine vertical instead of horizontal, so I'll have to have connectors going horizontal.
Right.
So I'm going to have that there. And then over that's when I'll have the connection. And then there'll be.
But Andrew, you still have to do insulation. You still have to do.
Yeah, the insulation is going in between the gyp board for the main wall, and then in between the wooden joist running horizontal. There'll be another layer of insulation in there. So there'll be kind of like 2 steps to it.
So now I'm looking at their plate 4, which is your 8. So my original question is, the answer of my original question is on 8. Their page 4. Yeah, to use their words, number 3 and number 6 mate. They kiss side by side. They're in the same plane. I'm thinking about what's happened, the layers. I'm thinking about the layers outside of the wall. You're going to have a cleat or cleat. That's number 3. And kissing that is going to be number 6. So they are in the same plane. They're not like this. They're like this. And then between those cleats is the insulation, which in plate, the next plate is the squiggly stuff.
Yeah.
That's typically 2 1/8 inches thick. That insulation. 2 1/8 inches thick. That's like a Dow Cavity Mate or Cavity Mate Ultra. That's a high density closed cell polystyrene that is highly hydrophobic. It's very light, easy to install, and easy to create air barriers with because you can tape it with the proprietary tape. And that fits in there, and they cut it to fit within each of the wall brackets. So really, that wall is about 3.5 inches outboard of the sheathing of your architectural wall. The metal studs, and I presume you're using metal studs, and then like Den's glass sheathing or whatever you're using, like a 5/8 inch sheathing. So that's a pretty. What I like about that wall is it's really thin, so it's a light wall. And a contractor will like it because it doesn't cost a lot, because it's not a lot of material. And it's a wall that keeps all of the rain outside of the insulation. So I think that's really important. And you may be able to do insulation in the stud cavity of the partition itself.
Yeah, that's where I was
like a spray insulation, like Isonine, which is a good product. It fills the whole cavity, so there's no air, never gets in it, right? Moisture never gets in it. So Isonine, that's another possibility, and that will bolster your R value.
Then the only thing I really have to think about is if I'm going with the precast concrete slab or a metal deck with open web steel joists. So I'm still kind of.
Yeah, you got to jump on that one. I think you got to do concrete at this point.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, we talked a while ago about post-tension slab. I don't know if you looked at that any further. That's actually one I think you should consider, because you have so few columns. It's such a simple building that it's kind of it's like, why wouldn't you do post-tension? It's an apartment building. It's not a condo building that's going to be modified or improved. We talked about all that.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Keep flying.
All right.
Anything else I got to look at? Do you want to screen share your ground plan just so I don't?
Really,
so
the
I see everything and
changed was the I can bring it up real quick.
It's not that I don't trust you.
I'm getting it all set up on my CAD.
This is all in CAD?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. I do want to talk about one more thing relative to your skin when we're done with this. Mm-hmm.
I also brought out the mechanical room to have a door there between that and the trash room.
Yeah, that's smart. Yeah, that's smart.
But yeah, I guess I got to put the columns in. The only thing that really changed was I lost one parking spot with the columns.
Well, only because
yeah,
I mean, only because you wanted this green area to be so big. You could recover that spot very easily. Okay, I want you to. So you're gonna have to listen to me very carefully now. I want you to zoom in, at the stairway and the retail space and the skin, and I want to see that first column north of the retail. Yeah, I want to see. Just zoom in there. Yeah, just zoom in real close. Okay, so we have an issue.
Yeah.
So the issue is this. The columns, first of all, you're showing steel columns.
Yeah.
And that's not what you'll have if you're doing concrete. So you need to change the footprint of the columns. And they probably are like 12 or 16-inch tube columns, you know, formed in sonotubes, right?
Okay.
But here's the thing. The columns must be inboard of the exterior walls. Do you follow what I just said?
What was that you cut out?
The columns need to be inboard of the exterior walls. So let's go down one column from this one. Just go down. Okay. That column needs to be flush or 3 inches away from the interior sash. Is that locked? Can you move that to show me what you think I've just said? Can you slide that?
So you need this column to move in?
Yes, sir.
That.
Like that. At least that.
I don't know why that.
At least by that. So here's the thing. You got to do that in the north-south, east-west directions for the whole plan all the way up, Andrew. And I wouldn't do it here first. I would try to do it upstairs. Here's why. Let's go upstairs for a second. You're drawing the way I draw. Put everything on different layers.
Yep.
Relative to the floor plan.
Where?
What I do, Andrew, is label the floor levels like underscore level 1, underscore level 2, and so on, because those will always be at the top of my list.
Okay. It's good to remember
Just
that.
a little trick of the trade. Mm-hmm. Old dogs teaching a young dog a new trick. Okay, can you give me an exterior wall?
Yeah, that's what this is right here.
Is that the exterior wall? So that exterior wall is kind of drawn as like a 12-inch wall.
Yeah, I drew it as 12-inch just to be safe. I didn't want to have to go back and.
Yeah. So we figured that it's, and you need to draw this wall, but it's 5/8 inside, right? You should document this conversation. It's a 5/8 inch wall inside on a 6-inch stud. So 5.5 plus 5/8, right? Then 5/8 sheathing, and that's the core wall. Okay? That's the wall that's running all the way up and down the building on the outside. Capiche?
Yep.
So when we're working together, Andrew, that interior wall is it's the 5/8 drywall, and that's a datum for the whole building. Right?
Yeah.
Okay, then outboard of the 5/8 sheathing is the kissing clips that has insulation, 2 1/8 inches, and then it has the planks, and we figured that that's probably like another 3 inches. So I'm going to try and do some arithmetic. 0.625 plus 5.5 plus 0.5 for the sheathing equals, so your core wall is always 6.625 inches plus 2.125 inches for your insulation plus the thickness of your, which is what, 1 inch?
It's about 1 1/4.
Let's just assume. Okay, 1.25. That's a 10-inch wall. See?
All right.
That's a 10-inch wall. So when you draw the walls in these kinds of things, especially in CAD, you got to know what wall you're drawing. And for you, this interior wall is probably, the one you want to dimension out from. Now, here's the other thing. The flip side of that is when you're dealing with tight sites, the outside skin needs to fit onto the property line, right? So you sometimes have to do it the completely opposite way. But here's the other point. If that inside wall is the 5/8 drywall, that column has to be inside of that core wall. So let's move this column. Well, how big is that column, by the way? That's as big as that bed.
It's 18 by 18, so I need to move them down to 16 by 16.
Yeah, but it's probably more like a 16-inch diameter column. 16-inch diameter column, and draw like vertical and horizontal lines in it to show us, its center point. And that steel column yeah. Like a 7-inch radius. No, just draw a 7-inch radius. It won't be that big. Yeah. So now move that column so that the outermost edge is tangent with the inner wall. There. That's where your grid line is everywhere around the exterior wall.
Okay.
Do you follow what I just said?
Yeah.
The red line work goes away here.
Because that will be the new column.
And the center of, yeah, that red column and box goes away. You can erase that for the second. Yeah. And then if you draw a vertical line from the center of that column up and down,
just do this.
That's your column line.
Okay.
And whatever that dimension is relative to the outside wall that you've got, so you got to bring it down that much and in that much, all the way around the building, on all the floors and the ground floor.
Okay.
The reason why you have to do it on this floor first, Andrew, is because this impacts the units, right? It impacts more things on this floor. On the first floor, it just impacts the retail stash and glass, and that stuff can go anywhere. That stuff you could have the stash and glass on the inside of that column, not just on the outside. It doesn't really matter. If you're confused about what I said, try to move forward on it, and then if you want me to look at it again, I'm around this weekend.
All right.
Cool?
Cool.
All right, I'll talk to you later. Oh, do you want to talk about the skin real quick? Is it your ambition to do that on all the facades?
Yeah.
What if you didn't? What if you thought of just like the two most valuable facades and did something quieter, right, on the other facades?
Okay. I might look into that then.
Yeah. I mean, you could do the same pattern, right, that you've got. The pattern itself geometrically could wrap around the building like a wrapper, like a belt. But maybe on these two street facades, it's this vivid pattern in terms of color choices. And then on the other one, it's kind of like families of grays, families of the terracotta, or families of what is that one color? Sahara, like Sahara and sandstone. Actually, there's a lot of grays too that are really nice. But like, I could see you doing polar white, off-white, and ivory on the interior facades, and letting just the patterns of grays create that volume. But on the street facade, it might be interesting to, rev it up, turn the volume up. But I think if you do that pattern all the way around, it's kind of like a kid at the mall having a temper tantrum, right? So you want to keep the volume down a little bit. Okay?
Good.
That's my 2 cents. Thanks. Nancy?
Yes.
What would you like to talk about tonight?
I sent you an email.
Yep, I'm looking at it. Which one do you want me to open? The first one?
Yeah, the one with my name. Actually, I met with Ash on Friday, and he recommended some movements of the column, since I don't know if you remember, I had a really long span. I was able to reduce that span, and I only have one column in the middle of my driveway.
And it's the green one.
Yes, it's the green one.
So you would make that a big ass column, right? Right now they look like they're 14-inch diameter columns.
Well, they're 18.
Okay, so they're 18 inches. Work with me here. They're 18 inches. So maybe that's like a 24-inch diameter column. Maybe it's twice as much, maybe 30 inches in diameter. So it's, you know what I mean? It's obvious, and it's painted bright OSHA yellow in the basement. So even I would see it, right? Driving around, and you make it kind of whimsical. Maybe it has like neon running up and down it, so even at night everyone sees it. That's kind of a one way to sort of maybe make lemonade out of a lemon. Okay. Yeah. The only problems I have with your plan is column line C. I wish that it was more like column line E, where the columns are into the space a little bit.
Mm-hmm. On
column line C, they're right at the end of the space, and people are going to have a real tough time, getting in and out of those. But I think those would be, you would make those kind of like the Fiat and the Mini Cooper spaces, mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
And how many do you get down here?
I have 48. Actually, Ash did mention that he would like all of them to be on the same direction. But if you can see in light gray, I did put on 60-degree, the ones on the north. But I will be 4 spaces short. So I don't think I'm going to be doing that, because I have 48 right now.
Uh-huh. But if you have 48 and you have 6 on top, you still have too many spaces.
Well, that's true.
Yeah. So, hit the number.
Mm-hmm.
Make it 50. You don't have to do more than that, right?
Yeah. Okay.
And you don't want to make Ash mad.
No, actually, he did mention that all we did on Friday was to make you happy.
Oh, God. I think you're making that up.
No, we spent an hour and a half, and he did tell me, tell Mark, we spent this much time so we could make him happy.
Very nice. Very nice. So the only graphical problem I have with the floor plans
mm-hmm.
is the line weights. The line weights for the car is too thick, too bold. Can you simplify them so it's maybe just the outline? I know it's probably a block, but change the block or take it into Photoshop and drop something in there. And then the diagonal lines, Nancy, for the barrier-free spaces and the barrier-free box and handicap chair. It's really, really bold. And it's graphically distracting.
Okay.
So those need to be changed. And also the furniture in the first floor. Are those little trees next to the tables or?
Yes.
Oh no, those are all trees. Those are all trees next to chairs. So just do this. Just do them as circles. And when you get to color rendering plans, if you do that, you can just drop color on them, and we'll know that they are trees. But don't do this heavy, inky, hot line work for things like that. Do you know what I'm saying? Like if you look at one, that barrier-free space, it's almost looking radioactive. You know, it's too hot. It needs to be very quiet.
Yeah.
There's a roof over there.
Over the what?
Loading space at column 7D. There's a roof there.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I'm on to 3 now. Plate 3.
Here it's the
Are there any
floor. I did move the columns so we could put them on the hallway on both sides.
Yeah.
And I did have to rearrange a little bit the units, not too much.
I'm sure.
And I also rearranged a little bit on the column between B and C.
One more time, please.
Yeah.
Between B and C.
B and C, I did put a shaft for installations, and I did add another garbage chute on next to the stairs for that section.
I see it. I see that.
But the second floor was not a big problem when I moved the columns.
So Nancy, then the garbage room at 2B, that the guy that works there, right? Garbage cart along that outdoor walkway toward the alley, right?
Yeah.
If we were going to take this into design development, then the garden area may want to have like a 4-foot fence around it, a screen fence that maybe is a live wall or a wood slat wall. That may be something you add in the renderings later on. Maybe there are native grasses in front of it to soften the fence or the wall, but you don't want to see that activity happening when you're sitting there reading Pablo Neruda in the garden, right? You want solitude, right? All right. What unit is the worst one?
For the second floor.
Wow, I like 009. That's a nice unit. Wow, so is 008. 008 is a big ass unit.
Yeah, that's the biggest one.
Yeah. So that in that unit, that island needs to be closer to the kitchen. 3'9" from either counterface.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Unless it's an ADA situation, then you got to make the ADA, but that looks too far out.
Yeah, it is too far. I'll move that.
I like the way you illustrate your sitting groups in all of the living rooms. They look tidy. That D to E span is huge. That's probably your biggest one, right? 36.5 feet.
Yeah, it is.
You know, the laundry room should have like all glass in it. Where you've got the door, you want to take glass, you want to have that wall to have glass in it all the way to the toilet room wall. So that when you walk by, you can see into it, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Laundry rooms are social spaces. They're not just where you do work. You don't just do laundry there. You maybe work on your computer. You know, you might buy stock and you know what I mean? You do all sorts of things. You do your homework. And here's another thing. You socialize there. You meet people there. So it's kind of like, it's got to be like safe to do that. And so you want people to be able to see you and you want to see people at the same time. So I think that room has to be the more transparent.
Okay. I did consider a space in each unit for a magic pack.
I see that too. I appreciate that.
And
it works.
Yes, I was also searching for something called what was it? VRF systems. That it's like
and
central system with like split systems.
Yep.
And I don't know if that could work also.
So maybe if you take a look at the MEP guide that I left you all in the Google Drive a few weeks ago. It's a big PDF. It's a whole notebook for how to approach the mechanical, electrical, plumbing systems. You could take a look at that.
Okay.
I think the magic packs are in that. One more thing. I think the furniture layout in 015 has to, I think it has to mirror. I think the TV should go on the other wall, not the bedroom wall.
Yeah.
Nancy, these are pretty nice. These are really nice plans. You have a good ability to do these. Have you done this before?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so what's this stuff?
Okay.
Glass.
The next plate. It's this is a fully clear photovoltaic glass I wanted to use. I actually sent you a link to a video if you have time to look at it. It's actually fully transparent. How it works, it has a little wire around the glass and it's connected to like a generator, and it has nanoparticles, and they absorb certain kind of light and they transmit it to this wire around the glass, and this can generate light. That's why I wanted to keep a lot of glass on my facade, so it could be utilized in a positive way for the unit.
So you're saying that it's a power source for the unit?
Yeah.
Did you talk to Ash about that yet?
Yeah, he actually wanted me to do a more deep research, because he actually thought it was a good idea. It was not a bad idea.
And what is the manufacturer saying you can power up with this product?
Well,
because I haven't looked at the video.
Yeah, actually, well, the one of the founders, it's from the Michigan State University. He actually wants to approach big buildings, construction, high-rise buildings. He said that maybe you could get a percentage of power from this kind of system. It's not going to be powering the whole building, but it could be I don't remember the percentage, but it was a big percentage that you could take from this system.
So then all of the windows and the conduit in them would have to like daisy chain, right? They would all have to chain together, and then each unit would have to chain to each unit, and then it would have to go to some sort of panel on each floor or on each building.
They could be chained in each unit. I mean, they could generate energy for each unit. They could have a generator, a small generator inside the unit, and they can power only that unit.
Or maybe the units could power like common areas, right? So maybe so that it could give back to the building, because everybody's paying for that in an indirect way as well. So yeah, maybe just a little bit deeper research on the sort of energy offset potential that this might have, because it will help take the building closer to being off the grid than not. You know, that if you didn't have it, obviously the cost of the product is a factor, right? So you want to make sure that it's not just a photovoltaic that's taking power out of the sky and transforming it into a power source for the building, but it also needs to have a good shading coefficient. You also want to be able to see through it. It has to have good insulative value. You know, it has to have low E capacity, the way that all insulated So I just want to make sure that, you know, that as a unit, glass unit, as an insulated glass unit, it works really, really well too, you know?
Yeah.
But it's very interesting. The other thing about the power, and this is why this is an interesting idea, because in buildings like this, Nancy, most developers, particularly in apartment buildings, these mixed-use buildings, you will find that the developer will say, we're going to do electric water heat, we're going to do electric ovens, electric heat, right? Unless they want to spring for gas, but they will usually go with an electrical heat system to run these things, which is the beauty of the Magic Pack. And suddenly, you know, electricity is actually more expensive than gas up here. Down where you are, it's not, because there's so many utility electrical companies that you have down there. It's a more competitive environment there. That's why your electrical bills are so low. But up here, it's a premium because we have so many heating days, right? You don't have them like we do. So that it's a compelling product, and I'm interested in it. So I'd like to learn more about it.
Okay.
Can you remind me what the building looks like again? Can you
let me see if
maybe screen share your elevations?
Yeah, in this computer, I can't use the 3D. They have AutoCAD LT.
Wow, that's like diet AutoCAD, like light AutoCAD.
Yeah. Let me see if I have an image. No, I don't.
I'm trying to. I can't remember. I'm sorry. I can't remember what you're like.
Okay, I can get it from my laptop and
What
I
was
can
the-
send it to you by email.
Oh, okay. What was the skin made of again?
The skin, I was trying to use a mixture of the glass panels and metal panels that would be like terracotta colors. Let me
Oh,
see.
you had like a terracotta rain screen?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Okay, here I have from last week. Oh, let me share it. Okay.
I remember now. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. I remember now. Yep. Never mind. I'm good. Okay. I'll look at the video later tonight or tomorrow morning. Is it long?
No. No,
Okay.
it's not. It's
All right.
rather
I'll
short.
check it out.
Okay.
Good luck. See you soon. Bye-bye. Alex, are you ready?
Yep, I'm ready.
Okay. What do you want to talk about tonight?
I'm gonna show you what I've done in the past week. I'm gonna screen share with you. Get that going.
Okay.
Doo, doo, doo. Pull up my floor plans.
Oh gosh, yeah, that's right. You have a courtyard too. You and Rasha are driving me nuts with these courtyards.
It's not that bad.
Well, how did you make this work? I want to see the basement.
That's the basement. Doo, doo, doo. Do you see it?
I can, but you're taking it away, so I need to see it again.
I'm still on
There it
it.
is.
Can you not see it?
Yeah, for some reason the computer just turned over to me again.
Oh, my lines went away.
And how
I
many
never did that.
are you getting down here?
I don't know where my lines went, but I have, I believe, 46 down here and then 4 upstairs.
Uh-huh.
Let me hide this guy again. I don't know where my angles went. But I converted first I had to convert the elevators. I had turned them the opposite direction, sideways, because the beam was running through one of them.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Which is a problem. And so that had to change. And then I took away the weird ones in the corner.
Uh-huh.
And I just made those just two parallel parking spots. So that's pretty much all that changed downstairs. My column grid.
Do you have can you thaw the line work, or can you reveal the line work for the spaces?
Yeah, I don't know where it went. Let me see. I don't think I deleted it. But
you had
that's my
all
old
of the
one.
storage. Yeah.
Oops, no. I don't
This
know
is
where it
all
went.
new
I'll have
from.
to find it. Yeah, this is new from the last check-in.
Yeah, this looks good.
But they're all angled. I don't know where they went. I might have accidentally deleted them.
Can you well don't erase the cars because you're gonna need those.
I promise I won't.
Can you show me the upstairs plan again?
Yes.
And what is the column spacing?
So I can show you the grid.
No, I meant the second floor, like a typical res floor.
Yes. This is a typical residential floor.
So between 2 and 3, what is that span?
Between 2 and 3, I believe these are all
and B
34, 35.
Uh-huh.
And then it's like 35-1. And then the opposite way.
Yeah, B and C.
Going from A and B and C.
They look smaller. They look like 20. They look like 22.
You mean these guys?
Yeah.
Those are 40.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe they are.
Yeah. They're exactly my limit.
Yeah.
Ash liked my grid placement a lot.
Yeah, it's clean because so what you did is you put the columns on the interior face of the courtyard.
Yeah.
Miss Rasha put them on the unit wall, the outside unit wall, the hall
These
wall,
guys?
and
Yeah.
cantilevered the walk around it. And you only had one other column, and that was the outside wall.
Oh,
So can you just reveal only the columns and the outside wall?
yeah, I have a structural plan that I hid.
Mm-hmm.
This is all my beams too, but there's just the exterior walls, my staircase, elevator shafts, mechanical shaft, and then just the columns.
Mm-hmm. If Rasha's listening, I hope she asks you to beg you to spend 3 minutes walking through why you did what you did.
Just
yeah, it's
try
clean.
to make it easier on me.
No, this is really the issue. There's so many other things that are hard because you haven't had to get into this much detail. So I tried to make like the site planning sensible but easier compared to like this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to get more complicated when you have to add on later in the next benchmark all of the other things that NAB wants you to like look at and understand and document. So I tried to prioritize things in such a way that like you really only had until benchmark 1 to design, because you're going to need the rest of the semester, right, to sort of bring the design along.
Works, yeah.
I kind of liken this. I'm going to use this next term if I do teach. You got to let the ball stop bouncing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, and once the ball stops bouncing, then you can like know what's next. That's when you start adding on the things that the class expects you to sort of study. But once the design is when you're bouncing the ball, but the ball's got to stop bouncing really by benchmark 1, and that's what I've appreciated about your project. You're some structural pieces that looks like you had the elevator where you moved it before. You need to change that.
I moved it.
North. No, I see. But there's like a gap next to the west of the stair.
Yeah, there's supposed to be a wall there. I think I accidentally hit it because that's another. Well, I don't know. Ash was confusing. He was saying I needed maybe 2 shafts from a mechanical besides the one.
Okay.
So that was the other one. It's easier to see on my first floor. Mm-hmm. I pop down there.
Have you begun to draw a section yet?
A wall section?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Let me pull it up. I still don't really know how to connect my terracotta cladding and curtain wall since it's a double skin. I've been doing research, but I'm going to talk to Ash about it tomorrow. So I just have like the basics of my steel beams and the pan concrete floor and the connectors and stuff and the drop down ceiling.
So I don't know what company you've been looking at, but
for the terracotta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I just typed something in for you. And
yeah, that's who I'm using. Yeah. Yeah. Sheldon is who I was looking at.
You still there?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Okay. Did you see that, Sheldon?
Yeah, that's who I was intending on using.
You like that line?
Yes, a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, me too. So and Rasha's company did a beautiful building in it. At Oakland University. So it's really sort of worth looking at. But it's you know, it's a wall that is kind of like a lightweight rain shell.
Yeah.
Over your like
Main wall.
Over your polar fleece.
Yeah. That's a good way to describe it.
Right. So yeah, and I like to think of the building enclosure as a strategy for warmth and dryness, right? Because relative to the human body. So let's run with that for a second. So your skin, your epidural, right, on your body is like dense glass sheathing on a building.
Mm-hmm.
The 5/8 inch thick structural sheathing that goes on the studs. Okay, that's your skin. On top of that skin, in the Shildon or like a Shildon terracotta rain screen approach, or like in Andrew's Oko skin approach, there's a series of like aluminum cleats that create a grid network that are anchored to.
Right, like a framing system.
Yes, ma'am.
Yep.
And that creates exterior cavity opportunities to drop in insulation, right? Like polar fleece. Okay. And then the Shildon is attached to those cleats. On top of, so it's the dense glass on the studs. It's usually some sort of vapor barrier, and then it's the cleats, the aluminum cleats with the insulation, and there's probably some other drainage plane, right? Like another barrier, and then the Shildon goes on top of that. Since the Shildon has gaps in it, for what people see through is a uniform black fabric. And I'm trying to think of the fabrics that they recommend. Maybe if you dig deep into their line, they'll make some recommendations for that.
Okay, I will. Good fabric.
But all in all, you know, the Shildon is only about 5/8 of an inch thick. The cleats are probably 3 inches thick, 2.5 inches.
Mm-hmm.
And so Andrew had some drawings up tonight on Oko skin. You could look at those online. That's where he got them. But you could also look at what Shildon is saying on that. But basically, from the sheathing of the dense glass, which is your skin, out, it's probably only another 6 inches.
Okay.
So all in all, you probably have like a 12-inch thick wall.
Cool.
What's your ceiling height in those spaces?
In the residential, they're 8 feet from the bottom.
And what kind of gap do you have? What kind of gap do you have under the steel?
Oh, let me look.
Did you cut a section through the whole unit?
Yeah, I have like 1'4" throughout the entire unit.
Because you might be able to raise that ceiling up to like 9 feet.
Mm-hmm.
Let me go back to the plans.
Yeah. Which floor do you want?
Residential floor.
Do you want with furniture or without?
With.
Okay.
So let me look at a unit.
Yeah, go down to this guy.
You've got some notes there that aren't. Oh, never mind. I would change the notations to 1BR instead of bedroom. It takes up too much.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Trying to do is look at where ceilings could drop.
Yeah.
So like the kitchen could be, right, the kitchen could be like at 8 feet or 8'2" from when you walk in to the closet, and the closet lines up with the refrigerator, it looks like, on the opposite wall, which is nice, good for you. So that could be like the low ceiling.
Yeah.
And in that ceiling, you'd have a soffit to go up to the high ceiling, which would be to the underside of the steel. And that's where the diffusers could go to blow heat at the window.
Yeah.
Right? If you did a ceiling plan in that unit, it would have a low ceiling and a high ceiling. That's sort of what I showed you in the last lecture when I showed you some of those unit plans.
Right. Yeah, I remember that.
So if you drop down where you've got your heat source with the ductwork, you could do like an 8'2" ceiling and have all that ductwork sailing beneath the beams, and then run it out laterally in the wall in the drop, right, to blow into the space.
Mm-hmm.
And you could do the same thing in the bedroom, where the bathroom, the closet, and the master bath are low ceilings, right? And then let the air blow off of that. So try to have maybe like a ceiling plan strategy for a typical floor, color coding low from high, and showing in your wall section how that could work for you.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe grab a little bit more real estate into the unit. So like right now you're cutting just through the outside wall, but if you cut all the way in this unit, if you cut all the way back to the kitchen, right, then you could show that HVAC strategy in the wall section. These are nice units.
Took a long time to lay all them out.
Yeah. The problem with the courtyard in this case is these one bedrooms on the short leg on the alley are really deep.
These guys?
And and that means that the living rooms are you always have the living rooms for the most part your wall. So that is quirky. So there are some developers, Alex, that would rebut that. Some would say, no, I
started to remedy that over here because I was realizing
I see you. It's not throughout, but like that corner unit's pretty interesting. But my preference, just so you know, and I think a lot of developers, just so you know, might want to privilege the living area. As the glass facade.
I can probably like flip the bathroom like over to where some of my kitchens are, then move the living room adjacent to the exterior wall.
I typically, and these bedrooms are really wide along the facade, I typically would run the grain of the sleeping closet bathroom cells along one wall, not along the facade.
Gotcha.
And then let the living room put its nose out onto the facade. So like in that unit that we were just looking at, you've got a really nice bathroom, but it's on the outside wall.
Yeah.
That wall is prime real estate.
So like
in terms of like unit design.
Where I have the bedroom and the bathroom against the wall.
Yeah, that's a better unit. Now, here's another thing. So let's stay in that unit for just a second. I like that unit. But and I understand why the front door is where it is.
Yeah,
but slide the front door. Well, no, just slide it over like 3 feet, and then you can put a hall closet
right behind it.
Right behind it. And then the box that you've got behind the bathroom, what is that? Is that a utility closet? Or was that going to be your hall closet?
I believe it's supposed to be a hall closet.
What is that box?
I think I wanted that to be a hall closet, but I didn't put a door in there. But it's too deep.
You still there?
Yep, I'm still here.
What is that box behind the water closet?
I think I wanted that to be a utility closet, but
it's okay. So I think you could have like a coat closet behind the door, and the vacuum and utility closet or pantry.
Yeah, already has a pantry though.
In that gap. Do you have enough closet space in that unit? Let me see the bedroom.
So the bedroom's right here, and then there's this closet and this closet.
His and hers.
Yeah. Thinking his, hers.
I would.
And there's dressers too.
Okay. That's probably the biggest weakness of these plans.
The closet space.
I mean, I don't want you to sweat on that now. I'm just giving you feedback that you can use moving forward.
Yeah.
Right?
Yep.
Okay. Let's go. I've been interested to talk to you about not only the wall section, but the elevations, because I really appreciated kind of, like, I didn't expect any of that this last crit. So I'm interested to see how that's evolved, Alex.
I'll show you a good one. Ash wants me to turn these guys horizontal, and I don't know how I feel about that yet. So I haven't done it yet, but he wants them to go horizontal for like bracing and stuff. And then I haven't filled in the windows yet.
Okay, so you still have some things to do here.
Yeah, they need to be massaged a little bit more.
Weren't you thinking about modulating their spacing?
Yes.
Varying?
Yes.
Yeah, so, but you've not done that yet?
No, because I didn't know if I was going to turn them horizontally or not. But they're definitely going to be modulated whichever way they're turned.
Right.
I like the verticality of them, but I get
I do
what
too.
Ash is saying about like lining up the horizontal grid more or less with the rest of it, but
so maybe structurally they are horizontal, but maybe their stacking and color allow them to read vertical, like a basket weave.
Oh, yeah.
Or a straw hat. So maybe you can have your cake and eat it too.
Yeah, because I do prefer them vertically.
Well, the vertical grain, which is what I think you're trying to talk about, is I think, compatible with the neighborhood. So, so maybe you can reference that in terms of the joints of the Shildon and maybe in terms of color.
Yes.
So in other words, maybe there's like a family of ambers, right? Yellows, right? Then you could specify that, create vertical opportunities or choices as they move up.
Yeah.
Oko skin is OKO skin.
Like that?
Yep.
Okay. And then I have a question about my roof. I'll put 3D. Since there's like a terrace at the top, that's probably a better way to see it. I don't really know how that's going to work or structurally.
You just broke up there. So what were you asking?
Structurally, I don't really know what to do with like the terrace roof.
Well, you are doing something right. You're extending vertically the columns from below through the roof deck to support this blue wafer, but maybe the blue wafer doesn't have to be that big.
Yeah, that's what I've been trying to toy with. Because it's a lot of space. And they don't need that much space.
No.
So I'll probably
Delineate underneath what the roof space is for the terrace that wants the roof, because maybe the entire terrace doesn't want to be covered.
Yeah.
So think about it that way. And maybe it's not solid. Maybe this is a perforated thing.
Well, I know you mentioned like tying these up
pergola
and over, you know?
Or a trellis. Yeah.
Yeah, like with these guys.
Yeah.
So maybe I just need to explore their geometry and their relation to the roof.
There you go. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, thinking of it as
That's a better plan.
flat and opaque thing is the default thing.
Yeah.
But now start to simply dial it in and make it more specific, just like you've tried to do everywhere else.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good plan. I'll do
Anything
that.
else?
No, I think that was it that I had. I'm meeting again with Ash to go over my wall sections, but I think that's all I had for right now.
Cool. All right. Could you maybe just email Rasha?
Yes, I can email Rasha.
Thank you very much. All right. Have a good week.
Thank you.
I'm around this weekend, by the way. And you got the grade sheets and everything?
Yes.
Alex?
Yep.
Okay. So let me know if you need to visit.
All right. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Hey, Eric. How are you?
Good. How about you? Can you hear me?
Hey, Eric. How are you?
Good. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. What would you like to talk about tonight?
Well, let me do the screen share thing here. I guess we'll just take a look at the model and go from there.
How old are your two kids?
10 and 8.
Oh, perfect age. Perfect age for Halloween.
Yeah, yeah. So
good.
I don't know if you want to go through unit plans maybe, or I've got a question.
I'll look at those. Let's get started.
Sure. Oops. Structural plan doesn't do you any good, does it? Okay, so here is typical floor. Pretty much all of these one bedrooms are identical. So this is the typical layout here.
I have no problems with them.
Okay. Yeah. And then these two bedrooms over here are, you know, the only variations. They're a little different in shape because this angle on the corner isn't exactly 90, but they're pretty much the same thing.
I might change these, right? Okay. I'm not saying for this review. I'm saying like if we were working in an office together and you were going to be in the office for another hour and a half tonight,
right?
I'd say, hey, dude, can we look at the kitchen on the bedroom walls and do it as a galley kitchen, or like a long lineup of all of the counter with an island?
Oh, right. Yeah, I can see that.
And then have the dining room off of the north wall, and then have the living room. Like, so when you walk in the front door, all you get is like the living room and the sitting area and the big ass, right? You get all of that vibe. You don't see any of the messy sort of behind the scenes stuff of the kitchen millwork.
Yeah, yeah.
You know what I mean?
That. Yep.
So that would and I was honestly, that's the only thing I would change. I wouldn't change those.
Okay, great.
You also might have enough room. The only other problem with these two bedrooms is the bedrooms are so remote from the bathroom. So if there was a way to get the bathrooms closer, like in that two bedroom that we're looking at, the 1142, the master is going to be on the outside wall. and they have the farthest to walk.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I could see that. Maybe there would be an opportunity to put the bathroom like maybe right between the bedrooms, and then the entrance would go like towards that center wall.
Maybe that way, and then maybe there's another bedroom on the demising wall. I don't know, but like I think it deserves another layout, because I think if you can improve the 2-bedroom, the 2-bedroom has the gold standard. There can't be anything fucking wrong with the 2-bedroom. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because that's the one that's going to get the most money.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're and this is like the longer term conversation. This isn't
right.
These aren't comments for like Tuesday night or whatever, right? This is like talking to you about unit design, so that you're better at it when you're doing these things in the office. So the 2-bedroom wants to have baths where the master is privileged with a walk-in closet and a reach-in closet for her and him respectively, a master bath for themselves, and the 2nd bedroom can be much smaller and have a hall bath that maybe just has a stand-up shower in it, or a tub shower, and and it reads more like a powder room, and it can be separated like you've got it by a hallway. That's the kind of way that I think of those things.
Right. Okay.
And since you've got if you move that kitchen, you've actually got a lot of room as you move into that unit. That whole home plate shaped area that's got the kitchen, the table, and the couch, that doesn't have to all be social communal space. Some of that can be released to service the bedroom units and the bathrooms for them. So those look okay.
Okay.
And everything else is more or less the same. Let's look at the west and the south walls. Are those about the same?
Yeah, they're all that's interesting. Yeah, the ones on the outside are all same module essentially. Down here, Ash, I did meet with Ash, and he mentioned that this was or maybe it was you, said this was the dead end hallway here, and they were right. So these 2 here at the end get gigantic walk-in closets, but
yeah, but you still have you shorten the hallway to eliminate the dead end.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I think I would rotate the beds in those rooms so that they're not on the outside wall, but on the north wall and south wall, respectively.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Right.
How much room do you have for the dead end? What do you get, 50 feet from the door?
Yeah, with sprinkler you get 50 feet. So right now we're at 49.
No, you get 50 feet from the center of the door, Eric.
From this door here.
So draw a line between draw a line in the doorway of the 3727. I want to show you how to do this.
Okay.
Just draw a little 3-foot line there, jam to jam.
Oh, jam to jam. Yep. Gotcha.
Yeah. So draw a circle from that. That's 50 feet diameter. Yes, sir. Right there.
Oh, 50 feet diameter.
Zoom out. 50 feet. Right? You drew it 25.
You wanted a 50-foot oh, you need a 50-foot radius. Okay, gotcha.
Right. Sorry. Duh.
Okay. Yeah, I see.
That's what you get. And you see what I mean? It's from the door.
Okay. Okay, gotcha. So
you're okay.
That doesn't have to be. I could actually put the window back in at the end of this hall, right?
Yeah, but you made it better.
Okay.
You can still put windows in the closets.
Right. Right. Yeah, then you don't have to turn the light on when you go in there.
Yeah, well, I do because I'm half blind, but like that's kind of a nice thing. So let the facade have what it wants, because that's important. And but maybe that's an opportunity for like a smaller window, which might look cool on the facade. But those travel distances for dead ends are taken from the door, because when you walk out of that door, right, that's when the meter's ticking.
Gotcha. Right. Okay. All right. Well, that clears that up. I guess I thought I knew the rule.
Let's see the whole plan.
Sure. I said I thought I knew the rule, and I was just proven wrong. So good to know.
So the only other thing about this layout is that when you get to that point at the end of the good end of the 50-foot dead end, right, where you're in that triangular sort of space there,
right?
The building official is going to want to make sure that the stairway is very evident. The stairway door is very evident. So can you zoom in there for a second on that stairway? Do you understand what I'm saying? The guy at the end of that hallway standing there is going to want to, they're going to want to be able to see where that door is.
Right.
You know what I mean? And with it indented like that, that may, I'm not asking you to change this. This is not what this is about. This is like, these are life lessons. So the fire official may say, because you're never going to do a layout like this again, where you've got the L and then the diagonal core elements. You already admitted that to me last week. But in this instance, right, in this instance, to solve like these problems, if we were trying to put this through like construction administration, the building official is going to walk this job site and say, we got to add more egress lighting and we got to add more exit signs. And I'm wondering, can we put the wall for the stairway out in front by the elevators, right? Make the stairway a little longer and deeper, but also so that that door is something that people can see, that they can apprehend in a flash.
Right.
Standing there, you've offered them almost 3 choices of which way to go. And you really want them to only go in one direction, to the door of the stairway.
Right, right. Okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
That could be an easy fix. We could just extend the wall right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, put the door
but
in
it's something that because of this design that was kind of expedient because of the nature of this class and the schedule of this class, it's something that the design has to require solving of. So that's the only thing I'm saying. Okay, let's go to the, you got the grade sheets for this benchmark, right?
I do. I haven't had a chance to print it and take.
No, I just want to make sure you got
yes,
them.
I do. Yep.
Okay, and so do you want to go over anything that you need to show me before the benchmark?
Well, I do have
Sections
one last question about the
structural?
plan here, and then I do have a question about the enclosure. So,
Let's
down
talk about
here,
what you want to talk about.
down here, I've got my standard size unit, 720 square feet, and I've got this extra space down here. It could be part of this unit, or it could be something else, or I could just lop this corner off the building and not worry about any of this. I'm just kind of curious what your thought on that would be.
So I didn't know this was happening. So I would never lop anything off. Again, I think some of these things are happening because of the design, the original design sort of decision. And in this case, I would put value on these end units, Eric, to always be the 2-bedroom units.
Okay.
So you identified the most valuable ones at a good place, which is at that sort of chamfered condition. But I also think that these are good places for 2-bedroom units.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I was kind of leaning toward that, or maybe this could be like some kind of a lounge space or something, but I didn't really have a great idea for what that could be other than,
Yeah, but it would have to happen on every floor, I think, right?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it could happen on every floor. They're all identical, except for the
so
first
the developer's going to go, really? You can't lay these out any more efficiently?
Right.
In that group of 2, can I get 3 there instead? So they're gonna press you on stuff like that.
Right. Exactly. Yep.
And because why? Because they want to make money off of that space. They're going to say, wait, what? Cut this thing out on each floor, and I could be getting maybe 4 more units there at this much rent per week, per month, per year, right? So they're going to say, are you high? Right?
Maybe I'd be wishing I was, but no. So
that's my 2 cents on that.
Okay, great. So on the outside here, take a look at this kind of section thingy I put together. I've got, so we've got a beam with bar joists and our floor and or ceiling on top. Between, let's see if it'll, so that's a column there in the corner, between the beams. And the infill here is just a 6-inch steel stud with gypsum on both sides.
Den's glass on the outside.
Right, exterior gypsum. Yep.
Right, which is a gypsum product.
And then, so then I'm gonna go with 2 layers of continuous mineral wool insulation here. That's those 2 layers there, and that's where my glazing occurs also. So it'll extend in and be attached to the steel framing here.
What's the consistency of that mineral wool? Is it a panel?
They make it as a board product, actually. So,
and what's the R value of it? And how thick is each layer?
I don't remember.
Why aren't you using like a Cavity Mate?
I'm not familiar with a Cavity Mate. Is that
It's a Dow product. It's
okay.
It's called Blue Board.
Okay, is that a like a polystyrene or something, or?
Yes, sir.
Okay,
I think it's a closed cell polystyrene.
Right. Well, the mineral wool is similar in R value, and it's non-flammable, completely non-combustible. So.
Yeah. So is the Dow product. Take a look at both relative to their insulative value, their R value. Make sure you're maxing it out, because I think it's 7, more or less, for 2.125 inches in the Dow product.
Okay.
I'm just looking it up. Let me look it up real quick. Dow Cavity Mate Ultra. Cavity Mate Ultra is what it's called. Ultra extruded polystyrene foam. I'm just looking it up right now. Bear with me. For 2 1/8 inches, it's a 12.
For 2 inches?
It's a 12 R value. Yeah, 2.125 inches. For 2.5 inches, it's 14. So I mean, it's a dude. It's a real.
Okay, yeah, I'll have to do some comparison on that.
Extruded polystyrene foam insulation, completely hydrophobic. It's just up the road. It's in Midland, right?
Right.
Okay, so insulation that captures the window openings. And then...
Yep. And then this is my rain screen, which I was thinking was going to be... Yeah. So if we look kind of at the overall here, my section is cutting right through here at this side.
Mm-hmm.
So over here, I've got these zinc panels. It's going to be the dry design panels. So those just attach with some Z-girts to the steel framing here, which is no big deal. But how I'm kind of racking my brain to figure out how I'm going to hang this this other rain screen thing here without compromising this continuous insulation here. Well,
what if both the dry design, what if both were the same, using the same cleat system, it was just a different panel?
Yeah, I'm kind of, you know, the more I fight with this dumb thing, I'm kind of leaning toward that direction. The idea here was that these might be like translucent panels that are maybe kind of soft backlighting or something at certain points of the day or whatnot. But
well, the rain screen is going to drop out at a window, just like you've shown it.
Right.
And then you're going to have, so then you have panels where there ain't windows. You have panels that have the same proportion as a window, and then you have a panel that looks like it could be a spandrel to a window, the more square-like component.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So one of them could be kind of like translucent glass, like opal glass. Just bear with me on this color palette here. The other one could be kind of a gray glass, and then the diagonal line work, right? The thing that looks like it's the thing that looks like
here
it's creating a layer or a diagonal through it. What if that diagonal wasn't such a crisp line? What if it was just a line that was caused by perforations in the zinc or in the metal panel itself?
Okay.
So I don't know if I'm making sense by that, but I'm going to go back to David Adjei for a second, who we have been working with on something, and he has this, and I showed you one of his buildings, but no, he didn't do it here. He didn't do it at this one. Bear with me. Maybe it was one of your colleagues that showed a perforated rain screen. Let me just type this in. Perforated. So I typed in perforated metal panels, and I am going to show you okay, here's an image. And I'm going to screen share right now, okay, Eric?
Sure.
You still there?
Yep.
Can you see that?
Yes.
So, and in this picture, you can see the joints of the panel. They happen to be running more horizontal, like a masonry wall.
Mm-hmm.
Right? But the panel itself can have a edge created out of it by the way that the holes are composed. And
Right. Yeah, I can see where
In
that
fact-
could get kind of the same effect I'm looking for. Yep.
exactly. And then there's this image which actually shows you that it can be both solid and opaque. And it creates a real kind of a figural, sort of like it's trying to be something like trees. Then there's this, where text can actually there, can you see that one?
Yep.
This blue and yellow thing?
Yep.
It's a pretty, it just seems like it might be easier to approach it as kind of like an artistic thing, not just as a technical, like how do I solve this technically with a complex detail?
Right.
It does appear to me that you're struggling with it. And I want this to be fun. I don't want it to be a pain in the ass.
Okay. Yeah, I had kind of half had my mind made up on switching away from that anyway, but I guess I was kind of hoping you had some kind of experience that would solve the issue. But
I haven't done that many range screens before. They're a lot of fun, and we did one at a project in Royal Oak, but it ended up being kind of a wet joint range screen. So I was kind of disappointed that we weren't, able to get the full sort of benefit out of the panel as an opaque, as a transparent, and as a translucent system.
right. Okay.
But I'll tell you, if you looked, Eric, at this facade now and the range screen that's cladding it as a kind of a two-dimensional artistic project, I think it could make this your project a very interesting one.
Okay. Right. All right. Well, I'll work on that then. So.
Cool. Did you resolve your basement, your parking plan?
Yeah, I think I did. You want to take a look at that?
It's real quick. I trust you, but I just want to see it. Yeah, I remember now.
So it used to be that you came in and went around the outside and then crossed back over here. So I made it. It's tight, but you can make it around this curve and weave your way
and
back
that curve
around
is
the other
probably
way.
only painted. That curve is painted, really.
Yeah, I would think so. Yeah.
And
don't
I think
there's a curve
if you can
there.
zoom out just a bit so I can see some of the column bubbles, like the column at 2B and 2C, those would probably have like the highway guardrail around them at the bottom.
Right.
And then the line work that's keeping the car from hitting the columns might be a curb there, or it might just be painted yellow, like OSHA yellow, in order to sort of keep you from, kissing the column as you're making that cut.
Right. Yeah,
So
so I ended up with
there's no space at F13, right?
F13.
Or is that a column there? That's not a column there, is it?
Ooh, you're right. There is no space there.
Yeah, so you gotta paint that one out.
Oops. Yep. That's no problem. I ended up
But
with
I also
actually a
think-
few more than I needed, so I think I'm okay.
Yeah, but I also think that the one near the stairway is probably a little snug. So
This
you
one
could
here?
slide those. Yeah, you could slide those two to the west a little bit and probably
Yep.
make it work.
Yep.
So just put a circle around that to get back to it. Cool. Have you been to Europe?
No.
So this is a very European layout, right? This is going to depend on like the extremely important driving skills of the European driver to get around in. So I mean, there's very little room for error down there, and you probably want to have like a clause in the lease on this building that you've designed, Eric, stating that you can't have a Yukon or an Escalade.
Well, then you got to park up at the street. That's all.
And you got to park up on the street, right? What kind of car do you drive?
Me, I drive a Jeep.
What Jeep do you have? I'm a Jeep person.
It's just a Liberty. It's my wife's old car, so.
Yeah. Yep. So I've had 3 Wranglers, and I love them. I have a Grand Cherokee now. That's a big vehicle for me.
Yeah. Yeah, they're nice. You can they turn on a dime. It's pretty cool.
That's what I've loved about them. Yeah, so you need a Jeep down here to navigate, but that'll work for you.
Okay, good.
Okay, I think you're in good shape. Did I get to answer the question that you were thinking of asking?
Yes. Yep. And I've got some questions into Ash for HVAC stuff and that. So I imagine he hasn't had a chance to answer me yet, but I sent him an email today on it. So. Okay. I'm sure he'll be getting back to me soon.
Cool. I'm sure he will. He's good about that. All right, I'll let you go. Let me know if you need to visit over the weekend. Otherwise, keep plugging along, okay?
Great, thank you.
Okay, Eric, bye-bye. And I think that's it. Good night, everyone.